Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month, the month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. So I'm here today to talk to you about Black Panther, the 2018 Ryan Coogler movie. Before I say anything, let me just say rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. It is still tragic that this man died in the year 2020 of colon cancer. It was a huge shock and just like tears all around the world when they found out this man died. It was just unheard of because it was just like nobody knew he was sick except for himself and people close to him. And it was just the biggest shocker the world ever had. And more importantly, it was a big shocker because he was currently about to film, the second Black Panther movie, and his character is still in the MCU, or was, I should say, because Marvel decided to make the decision to kill off the character and just not recast him. And that's caused a wave of controversy. At first, many people was like, yeah, this was just like shocking. It was tragic. Just retire the character and everything. Like at that time, that's what people was feeling. Now, as time has passed, people want the character back because, they love T'Challa and everything. And there was so many stories left not told and barely any stories of him ever been told and stuff. And, Marvel has recast people before. Terrence Howard, they've recast Thunderbolt Ross because the actor died, and that was just more recently. And so they've replaced people before and recast and stuff. And so people are wondering, why won't they recast here? They've even recast, or trying to recast, Kang the Conqueror. And so people feel like it's about time because, time has now passed, 4 years since he's died, and they say, they want the character back. Plus, there are some people who just don't want Shuri as like the Black Panther. I haven't seen the second Black Panther movie yet for like a million different reasons, but some people don't want Shuri only because she's a woman, and other people don't want her because of the Letitia Wright, anti-vax controversy that went on. And so, but people just want T'Challa back because there are so many untold stories and we never got to scratch the surface. No puns intended. And so with this movie was a pivotal turning point in Marvel. And not only that, but just black culture in general. Because, this was probably Marvel's last grounded solo movie before they went to the whole extreme, like wacky, silly Disney baby humor route and everything with like Thor, Love and Thunder and, Black Widow and stuff like that. This was literally the last grounded movie. This movie didn't have no portal in the sky. There was no giant alien invasion. The whole world wasn't necessarily at stake, or the universe and stuff. It wasn't like an alien villain or nothing like that. It was just more grounded, one-on-one with a human villain, and no death ray or nothing like that, no portal in the sky, no alien invasion. It was just grounded. Nowadays, everything's big and spectacular, and people are tired of it. And so, but the movie was also pivotal for being having a black man be a superhero in today's audience, which is something a lot more people need to see because you don't really see that. Like Black Panther, well, Wakanda and Vibranium was introduced in phase 2 of Marvel. And it would take phase 3 just for Black Panther just to show up. It took a very long time because the MCU was only focused on like white superheroes and stuff. And so they received backlash from that and not having any like female led movies. So we all knew what happened after that. First came Black Panther, then Black Widow and stuff. And when it comes to that of like, Black Panther in the comics, he was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and made both of them rest in peace. It was so sad seeing both Chadwick and like, Stan in this movie knowing they passed away. And they created this comic back in 1966. However, Black Panther is considered the first black superhero. He is not. The first black superhero that came out in 1940s was actually Lion Man of like the jungle and stuff. Many people don't know, even heard of him, and I've never heard of him until just now. And so he was created by an all-black comic book company by Orvin Evans. So Lion Man paved the way for Black Panther, who paved the way for Black Lightning, and paved the way for many other black superheroes such as Miles Morales. And yes, Miles Morales is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is not Miles Morales, despite what a bunch of racist white people want you to think on the internet. And so, like, Black Panther was a huge thing back in the comics, fighting segregation and, like, standing up for black rights and stuff like that. But he was also a superhero, depicted much differently than he is today. Back then, he was a skilled tactician. He was also highly intelligent and stuff, creating all his weapons and gadgets and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's up for Shuri to do that because she was created about a decade ago, along with the Dora Milaje. And so, like, they were introduced about a decade ago, and that's where mostly the MCU gets most of their storylines and stuff for. And because, back in the day, depending on which comic or animated series you want to see, T'Challa either went to America to attend college to learn stuff because his father sent him there, or after his father's passing, he took vibranium to fund himself to go to college to learn all he could so that he could be a superhero and stuff. And so that part of his origin was not put in the MCU. I remember it was put like in the cartoons and some of the comics and stuff like that. And so, yes, this movie was like huge. It was directed, like I said, by that of Ryan Coogler, but it was also written by him, and it was also written by Joe Robert Cole. And this movie is phenomenal to the point to where it doesn't even feel like a comic book movie. It feels like a genuine movie. There is so much heart and soul in this movie and passion that I don't care what Martin Scorsese says. This is cinema and everything. And he hates comic book movies. And so, but when you watch this movie, it is something of another world, like literally and stuff. Like, it doesn't feel like your generic comic book movie. It literally just feels like a coming of age tale. Now, the movie is not perfect. That third act is atrocious because it's nothing but a CGI goopy fest and stuff. Having the hero and the villain fight in these CGI suits and the CGI background was just terrible. Those rhinos look terrible. If only they would have put more into the budget. Speaking of which, this movie had a budget of $200 million, but it made $1.349 billion with a B dollars and stuff. It was a huge smash hit. One that Disney Marvel probably was not expecting, because the only reason really why they made this movie is because of the backlash that they had because they didn't have no black superheroes in the MCU. Wesley Snipes tried to bring Blade to movies back in 1992, but Marvel was not interested, so he went to another black superhero, Blade. And when it comes to this movie, everybody went to go see it. It didn't matter what race they were. People flocked to the movie theaters to see it. And of course, it had its haters. If you recall back in 2018 when this movie came out, and if you was on Twitter, you would see tons of spaghetti posted like copy and paste messages talking about how, okay, well, basically it was like this. There was a group of white people, racist as could be, you know, those anti woke mob people, trying their best not to let people see this movie. They tried to derail it as much as possible. What did they say? Basically, the statement goes like this. A group of white people went to go see the Black Panther movie only for a group of black people to see them and yell at them and tell them, hey, whitey, this movie isn't for you. That never happened, and it was just constantly copied and pasted over and over on the internet because these group of people did not want people to see a black superhero movie. This is how disgusting this world is when it comes to black people. They won't let us have our day in the spotlight. They only want it to be about them. Well, guess what? That didn't stop people from seeing this movie, and like I said, it made $1 billion with a B. Sadly, the sequel did not, but there's a million different reasons, like I said before, why the sequel didn't make as much money. One, it mainly had to do with Chadwick passing away. People just didn't want to go see their beloved actor dead on screen and everything. Another one was, like I said, Letitia Wright vaccine controversy, and then the dude who played Neymar, he had some allegations against him with the Me Too movement, but I don't know what happened with that. That just went silent after a while. And so there was a couple of reasons why the second one just didn't do that well. And it does make me wonder, if Chadwick didn't pass away, what would the second movie be about? We know Neymar would still be in the movie and everything, but what would have happened? And so this movie also gave us one of the best villains in the MCU, Killmonger. Because a lot, the MCU has a villain problem. They just do. Their villains are weak as weak can be. And they gave us a villain who had his own personal stakes, his own motivation, and was as grounded and realistic as can be. Which, if you stop and think about it, is more of a Killmonger movie than it is a Black Panther movie. And that's another problem I have with this movie when I said it's not perfect. It's not really a Black Panther T'Challa movie because the main focus isn't even on him. The main plot of the movie is Killmonger and stuff. It's Killmonger that makes everything happen and pushes his narrative forward. T'Challa is just there lending an assist and reacting to everything. I have a huge problem with that because in all the other Marvel solo movies, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, they all move their movie forward and a lot of things happen because of them. Here it is not like that. Basically, it is his father that causes the events to happen, both their fathers, and then it's Killmonger's movie. That just bugs the crap out of me so much. And speaking of father, his father does return in this movie as a spirit cameo and stuff. And I noticed that his father's eye is different. Both his eyes are different. One droops down and looks like a prosthetic. From what I've read, the actor who plays his father is South African. And from the 90s and back, South Africa was very prejudiced. Whites and blacks could not get along. It was basically the equivalent of 1950s America or 1920s America. And so he was ambushed. He was lied to by a group of men, and they beat the crap out of him and busted out his eye the way he has to wear a prosthetic and stuff. So sad and tragic to hear that. And it just lets you know how hatred can fuel people to do some of the most disgusting, nasty things ever. And so when it comes to this movie, it's a huge star-studded cast. There's Chadwick Boseman, like I said before. There's Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o. There's Danny Gun. I can't really say her name. There's Martin Freeman. There's Daniel Kaluuya. There is Letitia Wright. There is Winston Duke. There is Sterling K. Brown. There is Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, and then there is Andy Serkis. I did not like his performance in this movie. I'm sorry. There are some people who love Ulysses Claw in this movie and stuff. I do not. I've never liked his appearance or his acting in both these MCU movies. I don't know why he acted so goofy and silly in this movie. It's part of that Disney Marvel baby humor, and he went full force on that. He was just a buffoon in this movie. He acted so squirrely, which is a shame because the character he played is very villainous in the comics and is one of Black Panther's greatest villains. And it's just so sad he was reduced to acting like a fool, and then they killed his character off. And he never truly had his time to shine like he did in the animated series and in the comics and stuff like that. And I just don't understand why they wrote him to be a buffoon. And that just really pissed me off. Now, Danny Sapani, he was in this movie as well, but he had a very small role playing that of like, the rhino dudes, I think like elder or something like that. And this man is a really gifted actor. I've seen him in The Alienist. I've seen him in Harlots. And it's sad he just had a cameo. And so when it came to this movie, I was very curious to know how they was going to depict like, Wakanda and like the Black Panther. Because when we first saw him, he was a man who was out for revenge. He was more anti-hero, somewhat villainous in the Civil War Captain America movie because he wanted to kill Bucky for good reasons. And because of that, he went up against all the other heroes. And so I was really curious to know just how they was going to depict him. And I was very surprised they put in so many Easter eggs from the comics because it's like Marvel, when they created their universe, it was more of a technological thing and less magical. They brought in the herbs. I was surprised. They brought in kind of like that Lion King, like, talk to your ancestor type thing. I was very surprised they did that. I was surprised that they mentioned the White Wolf, who is completely different in the comics. The White Wolf is basically T'Challa's I think white adopted brother or something like that, and he's a villain. And so for the movie they changed it to where it's just Bucky, and he's just called that. He doesn't have no relations to the dude in the comics and stuff. So with this movie, we get the beginnings of like T'Chaka, the original Black Panther, the father of T'Challa, and him going to America to bring his brother back for treason for stealing vibranium, the strongest metal there is, because, it was a meteorite that crash landed on Earth and all this other stuff, and the Wakandans used it to become one of the most powerful civilizations in America, but they tricked people into thinking they are a third world country and stuff. And I love the visuals, how it told like everything happening in the past with that programmable matter looking stuff. I really appreciate when movies do that. I remember when the Harry Potter movie did that, and it's so much better than just seeing a regular flashback or just having somebody tell you that and stuff. And so, his father was killed because he tried to kill Zuri. And so because Zuri was working for him and spied on him, and so he tried to kill him, and Black Panther had to kill his own brother. And then they just left the body there and left his son there, basically doing one of the most cold-hearted things you can ever imagine. So growing up, this pissed off Eric and stuff to where he grew up to take his revenge. And so, like, when we see the thing about, like, T'Chaka's brother is that he's basically saying that, black people all around the world have had it hard, and with Wakanda technology, they could finally rise up and everything and be the strongest power in the world. Which is really interesting in thinking about, like, what happened if black people were to become the most powerful race there was in the past. Things will look so much different. And of course, there's a lot of people who don't want that to happen and trying their best not to have it happen now. This is why they keep us down. It's how the man sticks it to you. And so, like, his son has those same aspirations and stuff. And so, we see the present day and T'Challa and the rest, they head back home, and it's really amazing because it's cloaked, and you think you see just a regular African country until you see the advancement that, like, vibranium has on their civilization. They are the most advanced civilization on Earth. And I remember in Ultimate Avengers Black Panther, the animated movie, it was actually the Shintari that has vibranium, and it was their vibranium that went to Earth, and they wanted it back from the Wakandans. I think that's how the Ultimate comic books are as well. And so they did not tie that into the MCU, even though they introduced the Shintari back in the Avengers movie, but they was more like foot soldiers and not their own civilization. Oh, Josh Whedon, you messed that up. Oh, don't worry, Josh Whedon. I will get to you in a future video this month. And stuff. So anyways, so basically, they're home, they're celebrating, and like, it's challenge day, and M'Baku wants to challenge that T'Challa. Now, M'Baku is a villainous person from the comics, but they made him more here just a jealous man and an ally to that of T'Challa. Very much different from that of the MCU. And the Marvel comics and stuff. So after he gets his butt whooped and everything, we get to see the whole ritual with the herbs. And I really loved how that happened. The herbs are very painful. It's painful to take it out your body, and it's painful to put it in your body. And then you have to be buried and stuff. And when you come out, it's kind of like a Lazarus pit type thing, where you're just like freaking out and everything. But it allows you to not only gain the powers of the Black Panther, but it allows you to see, like, your ancestors. And we get to meet his father again. And so, like, he actually fully, like, went through it and got to see his father. So basically what happened was that Killmonger and Ulysses Claw, they steal a Wakandan artifact. And so with that causes T'Challa to go to, I think, Singapore, I believe it is, and go and retrieve it with that of his ex-girlfriend, Nakia, I think her name is, and Okoye. And so, like, I was just praying and hoping, like, please let Storm just enter this movie. I don't care how you gotta explain it. I just want to see T'Challa and Storm be together, which we'll never see that now unless it's in parallel dimension and stuff. But Nakia is his ex, and she's a former whatchamacallit, Dora Milaje. No, I can't talk. Dora Marat. Why can't I talk right now? You know who I'm talking about, those warrior women. And so, but now she is a spy. And her and him haven't really communicated in a good while. And, Okoye, she's his, like, right-hand woman and will just basically slit your throat if you make one wrong move towards him. And so, like, they go and try to retrieve the people who stole it, and Ulysses Claw is there. And I hate his prosthetic arm. I wish they would have gave him a better looking one. It just looked weird and gummy and everything. I wish they could have gave him a better one, but I do like the effect of the blast. I just hate the way it looks and everything. And I hate the way he acts. The car chase was very, very nice. Like I love the holographic like designs and stuff because Shuri, she's the one who made it, and now Shuri is the most like smart person in the MCU. Originally, it was Tony Stark until she showed up. That's kind of how she is in the comics, very smart as well. But I think they made her smarter in the movie because she has technology that will rival that of Tony Stark. Because basically, they have like, this nanotechnology that comes more out like a flash of light. And so it's like, it just like, it's like holographic tech. And that's how his suit kind of is. It's more like a hologram than it is nanotech and stuff and made of metal. Because we've seen Tony make um, a suit out of nanobots and everything, but it grafts literally onto his body and comes on like really, really fast. But with hers, it's just like a beam, a flash of holographic light. And so it makes me wonder, is his suit really just like, a hologram? But it's able to absorb energy because of the vibranium. But that's what vibranium does anyway. It absorbs energy. And so, but here they make it seem like if you hit a certain spot, it glows and then you can make it combust out and giving it a nice combustible effect and everything. So after they get him and everything, he gets freed and then he gets he gets betrayed by that of Killmonger. Killmonger's main thing is just to get revenge on T'Challa because of what his father did. And he hates him because of that. It's a weird motivation to hate the son because of the sins of the father. But yeah, that's his main motivation. And then to take over Wakanda and to like, be king of Wakanda to where he challenges T'Challa because people don't even know who he is except for Zuri and stuff. And when it comes to that, God, what's that dude's name? I forget the dude's name. The one with the rhinos and stuff. Like basically, since he brought him Ulysses' body and everything, because Ulysses killed his father in the second Avengers movie, he now allied himself with him, even though he's Okoye's husband. And so after Killmonger reveals to everybody who he is and how he came to be and everything, this really starts the political debate and everything of should he, have a chance to take over and stuff. Because, but here's the thing, was his father the oldest or the youngest? It always made me seem like, T'Challa's father was the oldest, but I guess not. And so he challenges him and he whoops his behind, stabs him and throws him over the ledge and he falls into the water. I believe T'Challa might have been holding back, and then he was distracted by the death of Zuri and stuff. And because it's really sad to see T'Challa, somebody who can whoop people's behind in a couple of seconds and a couple of minutes, be able to be defeated by that of Killmonger. But Killmonger is a very skilled person, but a Wakandan is supposed to be an even more skilled fighter and stuff. And so, but when it does come to Captain America Civil War, Black Panther did have a hard time taking down the heroes and stuff. Anyways, so basically Killmonger takes over. And there are some people that will follow him and some that will not. And so his mother, Ramonda, she and Nakia and I think what's the name, Zuri and stuff, they go and they try to like give the herb to M'Baku, believing he could be strong enough to take on Killmonger, but he doesn't want it because T'Challa is half still alive. So they do the ritual and he speaks to his father and his father's like, yo man, come join us in this ancestors. Come be dead, man. And he's like, nah man, I still got a path to follow and I gotta take care of some stuff and all this other stuff. Now what's really interesting is that when Killmonger took the herb, he didn't fully cross over into that Lion King looking land and everything. Basically, he was in his apartment and he could see the Lion King land out through the window. And there he talks to his father and stuff. it's really weird because it's almost like saying he isn't good enough to fully like pass. You know what I'm saying? That like there's something wrong with him, and we know there's something wrong with him. So of course there's the big CGI fight, and so both men suit up and they fight each other, and Ross, he helps out by trying to stop the deployment of Wakanda weapons and stuff to like the outside world. And so it's nice that he got something to do as well. And so, it's like a big like battle, and like, of course, Black Panther wins and everything. And so after that, he realizes what Killmonger and his uncles were saying. Maybe they should change their ways. They're not going to be so isolated like they were in the past. And so they're going to open up an embassy like in America, and like a youth program to help the kids out and stuff like that. And it was cool to see Zuri and like T'Challa go to like America and observe, people of their kind that don't live in Wakanda and stuff. And she's supposed to head up like, the technological side and help the young kids be smart. And Nakia is supposed to I think she's supposed to be in charge of like the embassy center. Now, I haven't seen the second movie yet, so I don't know if any of this stuff has happened, because it doesn't feel like it was the other MCU movies and stuff. But yeah, but all in all, this was an amazing, phenomenal, and game changer of like a movie. And it was so great to see black representation and real black representation in the homeland of many black people around the world. And not only that, but they actually cast dark-skinned people to play these black characters, opposed to what like other countries always do and go for the more lighter skin or mixed black person. Nothing against light skinned black people or mixed black people, but it is a disservice and when Hollywood always casts them to play black roles. And we know why that is. It's so it won't offend a white audience. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.